Well, there's a new bid calling champion in Nebraska. Clay Patton on the Rural Radio Network with you, and joining me on the phone is Josh Phelps. He is the principal auctioneer at KA Auctioneers, and he is your 2023 Nebraska State Champion bid caller. Josh, first off, congratulations on this terrific accomplishment. Of course, you're no newcomer to the winner's circle, as you have, I think, several state titles. We'll talk about that here in a little bit more in a second. But I think first, let's start our conversation with just getting more information and background on how your run went to win Nebraska this year.
Well, thank you so much, Clay. I'm honored to be here and obviously honored to be the Nebraska Auctioneers Association state champion auctioneer this year. It was an amazingly stout field of competitors, and when it's like that with a great judges panel like the one that the Nebraska Auctioneers Association contest coordinators had put in place, there's never any guarantees, and I think those of us who enter those contests do so knowing that at any given time you could win, lose, draw, or nothing. So I just came there, did my very best to make the best run I could make, and I was fortunate the way it turned out.
Well, and it looks like it was very successful in the end as well. Now, with this is, as I was mentioning earlier, kind of adding to your resume of state championships. It appears you've won Oklahoma and Kansas. So what does it mean now to win in multiple states like this?
It's a philosophy of mine that competitive auctioneering makes us better at the job, and it makes us more qualified ambassadors. And I feel like the real win in competitive auctioneering is when you grow. That's what I always tell my friends and my colleagues and people who study at the auction schools where I'm an instructor. The win is in the growth. And so the idea of competing in different state associations is kind of a double-edged sword that's balanced on wanting to be the best that I can be on one edge of the sword, but on the other edge of the sword, I want to introduce myself to people in different states and allow people to come to know me and my work and my personality and what I have to give to the industry and how I could potentially be of service to them and how I could give back even to the state associations. I care about the craft and about the art form in general of the live auction bid caller. It means a lot to me. Obviously, I've devoted quite a bit of investment to getting to this point. And so I think it's really important to be the best that we can be. And I couldn't think of a better way to introduce myself to auctioneers and auction professionals in the state of Nebraska than to come up and say, hello, this is who I am. And I'm just really thankful that it turned out the way it did.
No, and exactly. It turned out well. And what a great mindset and outlook to have on it as a way to not only build your personal brand, but to network and build, because that's the thing. And here's in the auctioneer world, once you're in it, it's a collective network of friends. You may be competitors, but yet it's also folks that can come together to work together at the end of the day. With that in mind, let's get a little more background on this, because as you said, you're a very passionate person about the craft of live bid calling being the best that you can be. So how did you get to where you are today? I know you had mentioned during the contest that you had a little bit of a musical background before becoming an auctioneer. So tell us more.
Well, it's an interesting path that has brought us to this current destination. I actually went the other direction from what most people assume about me when I tell that story. And the truth is, I was bitten by the auctioneer bug at such a young age. I had practically a terminal case by the time I was 12 or 13 years old. And when I was 14 years old, in the summer between my 8th grade and freshman year of high school, my grandfather made it possible for me to attend the Mendenhall School of Auctioneering in High Point, North Carolina, which is now closed. But I had the opportunity to work with some amazing instructors there. Of course, Forrest and Betty Jo Mendenhall founded it. The very late, great Dan Williams, livestock world champion, livestock auctioneer, was one of our instructors. World champion tobacco auctioneer Sandy Houston was one of our instructors. The great Jerry King, who's a really well-known figure in the NAA circles, was one of our instructors. IAC champion Marcy Goldring, one of our instructors. And so I had the absolute baptism by fire of jumping in the deep end of the pool in that summer between my 8th grade and freshman year of high school, and it just set me on fire for the auction industry. The problem was I sounded like a kid when I used the microphone, and someone there gave me the idea that I should go home and get myself a voice teacher and someone who could help me understand better how to engage in diaphragmatic breathing and other techniques that we use to produce and care for our voices. And I found a voice teacher when I got home, and I had some sessions with this gentleman. And about the third one in, he said, "I want you to bring your parents to your next voice lesson." And I'm thinking, as a teenage male would, I'm in trouble already. What on earth is happening here? But this gentleman began to outline for my parents and for myself the possibility that I had an extraordinary talent as a singer. And I began to study voice professionally with a really high-end teacher in the Eastern Tennessee market, and went on to get a bachelor's and a master's degree in vocal performance, and have quite an interesting and enjoyable career singing opera and concert work in some really wonderful places in North America and in Europe. And I've had a lot of really fun opportunities. Just this past weekend, I was blessed to sing the Star Spangled Banner for the opening session and keynote address for the National Auctioneers Association conference and show. And so I've kept up my singing chops and have given back quite a bit by way of being a conductor and continuing to teach singers and working in churches and things of that nature. But it has shifted focus to what I can do to auctioneers, for auctioneers, I should say, rather, to give them the opportunity to learn the craft of how do we produce the voice, how do we care for the voice, what do we do when issues arise, and then also how do we go about evaluating ourselves and setting some growth metrics and learning how to intentionally get better at what we do. And now it's just come back full circle. That's a long way around the barn to answer your question, but that is certainly how it has gone.
Well, it's not, they say overnight success, but there is no such thing as an overnight success. So a full answer and a great upbringing and just a great story of how you've come to be where you are today. And you bring it up, the fact that you were just at the IAC in Oklahoma not too long ago. With that, have you competed in the IAC International Auctioneer Championships? How did you do, and do you plan to keep competing in the future?
I just today got my scores. It's amazing that you would ask me that in this timing, but I just today received my scoring for the International Auctioneers Championship. Turns out this year I scored 33rd out of 60 competitors, but I was really fortunate and deeply honored to be awarded the Chuck Cumberland Go Your Best Sportsmanship Award for IAC competitors. People don't know Chuck Cumberland in some circles, but a lot of people in livestock auction circles certainly do. And so I'm honored to have the Go Your Best Award designation given to me. I'm just looking over my feedback from the judges, and it's pretty common stuff in line with things that I usually hear. And so obviously the growth process isn't finished yet, but this was my second time to compete in the IAC, and I just really enjoyed everything about it. It is a pressure cooker of an environment, and the very best of the best are often in this setting. And the idea of the Triple Crown, that is, the World Automobile Auctioneer Championship, the International Auctioneer Championship, and the World Livestock Auctioneer Championship. There are several fine auctioneers who have won all three of those titles, but between those three designations, you're going to run into what are arguably the very best auctioneers on the planet. And so my philosophy of being in the hunt for the IAC and some of these other open high-end contests is more of the same that we talked about earlier, just being the best and doing the best and seeking to grow. And I'm here to tell you, my friend, in contests like that, you certainly land among the stars. And so to be around the best and allow the iron to sharpen iron, according to that proverbial saying, sparks certainly fly in environments like that. So this was my second IAC, and there will certainly be more. Looking forward to representing Nebraska in 2024 in Pittsburgh.
Wow, that is awesome. And best of luck to you. I know it seems like it's far away, but it'll be here before we know it. So again, good luck to you in that upcoming contest. Let's talk about the auction method in general. As you said, in terms of being an auctioneer, it's almost an art form as well, but yet the auction method seems still very alive and well. So why or how is the live auction method still here in 2023 a valuable method of marketing, whether from personal property to equipment, land, and those sort of items?
Well, it is the live auction method of marketing. Obviously, is a central passion of mine since this is a focus of my life. However, it is a tool in the arsenal that is available to people that need to buy and sell assets of any type and style or class. And I like the live auction method of marketing particularly because it gives our sellers what I would say is the absolute most control over their transaction. And quite frankly, I think that it also allows buyers the opportunity to engage in a large range of purchasing transactions with what I think is arguably the highest degree of transparency that you can come by, because we're all playing by the same rules. The terms and conditions have outlined what we'll be doing and how and when we'll be doing it, and what your options are and what your rights are per the auction contractual agreement. And then it's just a matter of using the live auction method of marketing to find out who's going to pay the most to buy this asset the way that we need to sell it. And so I'm a big fan of the live auction method of marketing, and that's not to throw any disrespect toward any auction professionals who use strictly the online method. I know there are lots of those, and they're very successful. And full disclosure, I have my very own timed online auction preparing to close right now. We're in the last 3 hours of it today, and that is a powerful tool that is utilized in circumstances where we need to do it. But I really like the opportunity to hold a live auction, and I think that the live auction benefits the sellers and the buyers benefit from the presence and use of something like a simulcast. Or I've had quite a bit of opportunity to sell simulcast auctions over the years, and in my mind, that's the best of both worlds, where you're looking live bidders in the eye, and internet bidders have the opportunity to hear you and see you and interact with you by clicking to bid. That's the phrase I like to use, click to bid. But it's just I think it's an immensely powerful and transparent tool, and I firmly believe that the auction markets, that particularly the weekly livestock auction markets and the wholesale auto auction markets and court-ordered real estate auctions and other things, I feel that transactions like that are standing on a corner, propping up a significant portion of the American economy, because I feel that the auctioneer is not only able to keep us abreast of current economic trends, but they also, those of us who are in those markets day in and day out, week in and week out, have some ability to control that trajectory, or at least hold back the tide while people can make some adjustments that are necessary to keep from being adversely affected by large swings in the market. And so I feel that the live auction method, though people seem to feel that it's an antiquated or maybe even passé way of doing business, is alive and well and central to our current economic success in this country. So I could go on and on and on about this, but I'm passionate about it, and I think it's very important. And I wish more people knew what we do and how we do it and how it could benefit them, because I really think it's a powerful thing.
And again, Josh, your company, KA Auctioneers, let's give a little bit of a shout out to your company as well. Where can folks go to check out more about your auction company?
Our company is KA Auctioneers. We're an LLC based in Oklahoma City, and it's kaauctioneers.com. We are primarily a real estate auction firm, and so what you'll find from us is a focus on the houses that we sell via real estate auction and the traditional listing method, and some links to our proxy bid auctions. But that's how you find us. We like to do that. I also do quite a bit of contract bid calling for about a dozen auction companies here in central Oklahoma, and beginning to branch out toward Kansas and hopefully now Nebraska in the future.
Well, that is exciting, and good luck to you as you continue to expand your business. As you said, you like to give back to the industries, and I know that likely means that either mentoring or to sharing, your success and how you've built to where you are with young auctioneers. So what's your recommendation to either young auctioneers or auctioneers just getting into the business, is kind of exploring, whether it be in the competitive side or in the business side of the market?
Well, I think that we're finally on the right track in the educational scene in our country toward funneling future auction professionals down the right path. I shared with you earlier in our time together today that when I was a young auctioneer, 14 years old, I went to auction school and was very gung-ho to get going. And at that point in time, there was very little that I could do. I probably did literally hundreds of pie auctions and cake auctions and booster club fundraisers, and we even organized our own auction, found the items, found the venue, set the date, had the auction, clerked it, cashiered it, the whole deal, settled it out and everything for the Horse Project Group in my home county, Sevier County, Tennessee. And there was just very little that I could do. I had a lane that I was a ringman for at the car auction, and they were kind enough to allow me to sell the Kidney Foundation cars. I don't know if people will recall the time when the Kidney Foundation would take your car and convert it to cash in behalf of kidney research, and Tennessee Highway Patrol seizure cars. That was the extent of my professional auctioneering until I was old enough to do so. But now FFA and even Boy Scouts of America have auctioneer pilot programs, auctioneer experience programs, and they're beginning to partner with state auctioneer associations who are partnered with auctioneer schools and give young people immersive experiences to get involved in the auction industry. And I think that's key and crucial. The latest International Junior Auctioneer contest winner is a good friend of mine from up here in Hennessy, Oklahoma, very talented young man, Brandon Mendoza, Hispanic bilingual auctioneer. And we just, we have found a way to create a path toward an entry point for people who are high school age and so on and so forth. And I think it's critical that we've done that because this is the phase of their lives where our society dictates that they have some clue about what they want to do. And I'm just really thankful that we have this opportunity to clear the path for them, if you will. There are, I couldn't even begin to tell you, I think the last number I heard was approximately 30 really good auctioneering schools in this country. I'm thankful to be involved with two of them, obviously, and I've been a guest speaker at some others here and there. But it's just really the auctioneering schools are a powerful tool to help someone get going in the industry. It's obviously most places that's the no-brainer first step. But there are some other things that people who would like to get their feet wet in the industry could do. Because some of these auctioneering schools also offer intensive bid calling seminars. If you just want to learn that part of it, you can go do that. And there are actually a couple of different really good options for ringman schools. And I'm well aware of the quality of instruction that you can get in at least two of those places. And I would actually submit to someone that long before you're going to have an opportunity to be an auctioneer, you're going to get spades of work as a ringman. And so that also would be a great entry point as well. But if somebody's listening to this interview and they have interest in the auction industry, ask someone in it, and almost all of us will be glad to help you get going because it's a pretty narrow cross-section of society.
Again, we are talking with Josh Phelps as he is your 2023 Nebraska Auctioneers State bid calling champion as well. So again, Josh, thanks so much for the time and bringing through all this great information we've been able to discuss and recap here for today. Before I let you go, though, I want to get your final thoughts, closing comments, maybe important information I've overlooked here in the course of our conversation.
Well, I wanted to just share the experience that my wife Lacey and I had at the Hamilton County Fair and interacting with new friends and contacts with the Nebraska Auctioneers Association was second to none. We were welcomed with open arms, and even the fierce competition was friendly and sportsmanlike and charitable at all times. And actually, my wife put in to adopt a puppy from Good Life Rescue. She wants to name it Champ in honor of the success of the day if we get it. But we had a great time in Nebraska. One thing we haven't talked about that I want to mention, though, is I was humbled and just absolutely floored to also be given the John Moravec Memorial Ringman Trophy this year. And for people who don't know, I imagine there's not very many listening to our broadcast here today who wouldn't be aware of this, but the name Moravec in the auction industry is synonymous with excellence and success and integrity. And so just wanted to say thank you to the Moravec family for sponsoring that. They have an auction company over at David City, and they are top shelf people and even better auctioneers. They're just, it's amazing. So I guess the final offer that I have here today is just to say thank you for the warm welcome, and it really has been an amazing experience to get to know people. I'm looking forward to years of continued collaboration.
What a great point you bring up here, Josh, because, yes, the Moravets family, they're a great auctioneer family here in the state of Nebraska. And if you want to hear from your 2022 World Champion Automobile Auctioneer, that was Matt Moravec. We actually talked to him just after he won that national championship a year ago. And you can still find that podcast at ruralradionetwork.com. We've been talking with Josh Phelps, your 2023 Nebraska State Auctioneer Champion. And best of luck in your future competitions to you, Josh. Thanks for coming on and talking with us about this amazing win. Have a great rest of your day, and always catch more information, ag news, and podcasts when you visit ruralradionetwork.com.